Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 3, Episode 14, Heart of Stone. So this was kind of an interesting episode. It's one of those where I actually prefer the subplot to the main plot. The main plot, I'm just going to boil it down just to get to the end of it, because it's very drawn out. It's kind of interesting, but it's drawn out. Odo and Kira are in the Badlands, which is kind of important because at this point, Voyager has already started, and we've talked about the Badlands several times through the series, so we've already seen the Badlands. But they're chasing somebody, and they land on a planet, and while Odo and Kira are looking for this person, they don't know who it is or what it is, they're just looking for him. Kira steps in a crystal, how you step into a rock, I don't know, but they find a way. And this crystal starts like materializing and slowly encasing her body. And Odo, throughout the whole episode, is trying to figure out how he can rescue her. He tries to hit it with a rock. He fires a phaser at it, and that just makes it grow faster. And no matter what he does, he can't do it. Now, the reason this episode's important because of that is a lot of their dialogue and the conversations they have, such as Odo talks about how his name is actually Cardassian. It's Cardassian for the word nothing, so his name is literally nothing. And then, just before Kira's about to be completely covered, Odo admits that he is in love with Kira, which is something we've slowly seen over the course of Deep Space Nine. Now, some of these episodes are really slow, at least in my opinion, and this is one of those episodes, but it's also an important episode because DS9 has these long story arcs where we have to have these kind of slow episodes to watch the characters slowly change. And just in the previous episode, Kira lost her boyfriend, Vedic Burrell, so now Odo is admitting that he has had feelings. And the first time we ever saw Kira and Burrell together, that there was that scene where Odo looks at her and he kind of looks down like, oh, and that's where you start to get those hints. And finally he admits to it. One of the parts that kind of bothered me is he starts to realize that it's not Kira because there's phaser marks behind her. And he's trying to figure out how did this person shoot at you but miss? And it turns out, and he says I've watched you for 3 years. I can tell when you lie. And I'm a constable. I pride myself in being able to tell. Okay, no, you've known Kira for longer than that. We're 3 years into the show. But, there was the flashback where it was 7 years ago or something. So he's known Kira for close to 10 years at this point, not 3. So that's a little blooper or miss in the writing, but it stood out to me for whatever reason. I don't know if you guys caught it. Well, it turns out that it's actually the female changeling, I don't know if she's technically the leader of her people or what, but it's her trying to talk to Odo and kind of discover some stuff. And so, like I said, it's an interesting concept, but overall that whole plot point it was a little too slow for me. I wanted a little bit more action to it. Now, while all of this is going on, this is a very important episode as well because the subplot is all about Nog wanting to join Starfleet. And it's kind of some cute moments where he goes and he tries to talk to Sisko about, well, I just want to join Starfleet and I want to do this. And Sisko gives him all of these chores to do and he does them superior. He's doing a great job. And finally, Sisko's I don't see it. I don't think you could be the first Ferengi in Starfleet to go to the Academy. And Nog just, basically slams his hand on the table and he's I don't want to be like my father. And finally, he has that connection with Sisko where Sisko realizes what's going on. And again, like I said, DS9 is famous for having these long story arcs. They were ahead of their time when it came to storytelling because, little spoiler alert, as we continue through the series, we see Nog become the first Ferengi in Starfleet. And then, I just saw the documentary, What We Left Behind, and they did the first pilot episode, if they had done a season 8, or if DS9 ever gets renewed or whatever, about how, spoiler alert, Nog becomes a captain. And these are those first steps that we see later on down the line. So this is a very important episode, and I did enjoy it. It was a little slow for me. So for those who have seen this episode, what did you think about Nog and being the first Ferengi to want to join Starfleet? What did you think about Kira and Odo and the female changeling? What did you think about this episode altogether? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Destiny.